Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the SCRUMMY podcast, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Tinaishe, Remy. How are you guys?
I'm good. My weekend was great. Good start to the Monday. I am writing exams though, but
Oh wow,
yeah,
it's a lot.
the exams are getting a bit stressful now.
I believe in you,
But yeah,
Tinaishe. I feel like you're gonna kill it.
let's go through the scores. So we have Cal College with 29 versus Watershed with 20. Pretty good. We have Wiseau with 31 and Plumtree with 5. Then we have Remy's team with 0 and Georgia and St. John's with 33, which felt good to me because I felt like Remy kept getting on to me about my team. Feels a little bit like comeuppance, but hey, we'll hold on to that.
Yeah,
Then,
I think
then we have
my wait. We're not breezing past this game. Hold up a second. This is an important
okay,
game.
okay.
I just want to say I've been hyping up Hellenic a lot recently, and I had belief in them because they had a strong start to the season and maybe a little bit overconfident because I thought they could. I was really getting the feeling that this season was something special and that we could compete with those big dogs. Maybe it was too soon for that, seeing this game, but I think it'll be a big growth game for them, and so I'm excited to see what they do with that. Um, Tinaishe, do you have any insider knowledge here that I might not have? How do you feel about that absolute dominance from St. John's?
I think it was kind of expected. Hellenic, sometimes they're not always the best at rugby, but they do their best to try and get some points on the board. But this time, unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. I'm just hoping that next time, you know, they can
No,
put some
let's
points
not
on the
hope.
board.
Mm-mm.
Maybe win a game.
Okay, they've won
Just so
games.
that
They've
Remy
won
can
games.
be happy.
Okay, I appreciate that,
Yay.
Tinaisha. I appreciate that. Yes, guys, please win more games so I can be happy. Thank you. Um,
Exactly.
that was my piece.
Then we have a big one, which is Prince Edward with 70 and Hillcrest with 15. I feel like I'm pretty sure that was the biggest score of the weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
and I really think Prince Edward needed a
Yeah.
win like that. To be honest, I don't know how you feel, guys,
No,
but
yeah.
yeah, they actually did need a win like that to keep the winning streak on. They did lose to Johns a few weeks ago, but it was a tight game. They were going neck and neck, but this time they actually showed which team is on top. So it was good by Prince Edward.
yeah, dominant win and kept the momentum going, which I think will be big for their season.
Yeah. Then we have Heritage with 31 and Ridings with 20. I feel like Ridings being like the smaller school, they're doing really well like so far in the season. They're exceeding expectations in my opinion. But yeah. And then we have Ellis Robbins with 14 and Matado Boys High with 17. Then we have MCC with 34 and Goldridge with 13. I feel like this weekend was a weekend for people to either come back with vengeance or they were a little bit too lax that they didn't really try as hard as they should have. Speaking of that, we have Petra Senior with 0 with Gateway High with 48, BMC with 8 and Miranda High with 14, St. George's 4th with 10 and Lord Brighton with 25, Tinwood High School with 10 and St. John's Emerald Hill with 10. So I feel like it was a pretty good performing weekend. And then on to my favorite one, which is CBC with 30 and Eaglesville with 7. Remy can crop this specific part just for me to say this. Everyone who doubted me when I said that is my underdog of the season, that is my team of the season. I hope you see the score and see that I was right.
You get one
30.
win. You get one win and can't behave.
And that's okay. That's okay. I feel like they came back and they fought so hard. And personally, I am very proud to get 30. When people like Remy didn't even believe you could get three. So to me, I'm proud. I'm proud. They are still a team that I think people should watch out for. A team that I think will surpass everyone's expectations and they will do a whole lot better than people think.
Okay.
But it's a shame for Eaglesville. But I'm happy about it.
Hey,
Game to
Tinaishe, what did you think? As someone who's not biased, I want to hear what Tinaishe has to say about this game. What does this mean for the CBC
okay.
season?
I'm thinking if CBC are starting to be serious with rugby now, it has to be up for the rest of the season for them. It has to be. It has to be up for them. They played well. They showed Eagles were who's boss. I mean, for me, honestly, I didn't expect that, but it was well played by CBC. For the rest of the season, I'm just thinking CBC has to keep the momentum up, keep pushing for a win, for wins against other schools.
Totally, totally. Well,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that was important for them. Maybe a turning point for them. You know, maybe they can gain some momentum off that win and turn the season around. I know we haven't had another big game this weekend. We had Peterhouse and Falcon, which was a game we talked about a lot last week, and sort of being the telltale of like where these two teams are at, and we kind of got our answer. And I don't know about you, but it was closer than I thought it would be. What do you guys think? 30-31.
It was,
Peterhouse just barely
yeah.
pulls it off.
Yeah, it was a really tight game. I even saw the post by Falcon on Facebook. They said even though the game didn't go our way, we played our hearts out. Yeah, it was really well played. Tight game. 30-31. 1 point difference. 1 point ish. That must have hurt them. But it was well played by Peters just to, you know, push over the edge to get that win.
Totally. But like what you said, I think you can't be a Falcon player and going home with your head too low. You know what I'm saying? I think this was a super impressive game
Yeah,
for them
yeah.
regardless. Um, and also, too, they've had other really strong performances this season, and I think have been playing really, really well. So nothing to be ashamed about. It's just a hiccup, and it was a close game, and they'll be back for sure.
They have to make a comeback after that one. They have to show that even though we lost by 1 point, we're gonna keep pushing. We're a strong team, and we're gonna keep our heads up, and we're gonna keep the season going up.
The tough part, though, Tinaishe, is you say all this, but next week Falcons playing St. George's, so it's it's a bit tough. Like both of these teams, I think Prince Edward's next week is playing St. John's. So despite the result of this game, neither team has really an easy path to a win next week. What do you think about those two games? I guess we can go Falcon and St. George's first.
I think I'm actually not sure about the Falcons in this game. I've been watching Falcon play, they're a strong team. I've been watching our first team play, they're really some strong team. So I'm not sure on which team is going to win, but I can say that St. George's is going to go there well prepared for whatever Falcon has in stock. And I'm pretty sure that Falcon will be prepared for what we have in store for them. So I'm also thinking another tight weekend for St. George's and Falcon. I'm not sure which team is going to come out on top, but just cause I'm a St. George's boy, I have to say that Saints is gonna
Of
come on
course.
top.
Do you see?
That's fine.
I think
Wait, I do have something to say. I'm kind of going against the conversation here. I don't think Falcon has been performing as great as you guys are talking about. If we look back on their past games with Gundy versus Falcon, it was 48-16. Even with CBC, it was 10-0. I feel like they've kind of been slacking a little bit when it comes to their games. I don't know if it's because they're underestimating the people they're playing with, or or what. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. So to me, even though I'm not a Georges fan, I do feel like Georges will win next week. I feel like Georges always comes back stronger and harder every single week, and they always have a different strategy with each team. And it's like they kind of, what's the word, where like they study their opponent. They know that, like, for example, Gundy always has a good defense line. They know that for them to beat a certain team, they have to be able to stick together as a team, and they have a great captain and a great coaches to really back that. So going against what you guys say, I don't know if Falcons really pulling out the best they can do this season. I really wanted to talk about CBC because since we have the time, let's get into it. I will say with Peterhouse, I still stand by it. I feel like that was an unfair game to start off with. Like people from the get was already like thinking they were nothing to be like even paid attention to, and then when you play a big team like Peterhouse, of course people are not going to really take you that seriously. Falcon, like I already stated, I don't think they've been playing at their most potential this season so far. So that one felt a bit fair.
Well, yeah, the comeback can start now, maybe. I mean, it is. I will say it is a little bit tough for CBC because as exciting as this win might be for them, I think the upcoming weeks might not be so easy. Not next week, but
They are
in week
so
5
good.
they're playing St.
Okay,
George.
wait. I just saw who they're playing, and what I will say is I have faith. I have faith that when they play Georges, sorry, Tinaishe, that they won't be far behind or it'll be a draw. That's how.
Are you out of your mind?
That's not
No,
happening. I'm sorry.
okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
You
okay.
think they?
Why I say that is I feel like everyone always underestimates an underdog. One, two. Georges will spend so much time thinking, okay, that's not an important game. We're gonna focus on it in a bigger game that's gonna take more of our time. Like you said 2 weeks ago tonight, like you guys train for specific games. So you're not gonna train for trying to beat CBC, but CBC is training to beat you. That listen, CBC better not let me down because I'm out here riding for them. But I generally do have hope and faith in them. Like genuinely, I may seem delusional, but everyone called me delusional before, and now they've won.
So yeah, you guys finally pick up a win, but then next week you play Prince Edward's, and then the week after that you play St. George's. So what are you supposed to do with that?
I think they're gonna do good, right? Because I feel like Peterhouse, yes, as much as it was a big team to start off the season with, they now know what the hardest challenge will be. They've now like trained to have a comeback, and so far this is just the start. Remy, you can make
You
all the
said
faces in the
hardest
world.
challenge. You said hardest challenge as if the two next teams aren't better than Peterhouse. Like this,
Well,
that
no,
was
yeah,
not Peterhouse
okay.
was not the hardest challenge. These weeks will be the hardest challenge. They don't even know. They don't even know what they got coming. Tinaishe, tell her, bro. Tell her.
Say Peter House was a hard challenge for them, but it
Wait, why
wasn't
did you
the
add for
hardest
them? You
for
added them for
them.
them.
Listen, for them, because well, Peter House was a challenge for Gandhi. It's looking like there will be a challenge for us, or maybe for Johns. I'm not sure because the margin that they beat Gandhi by, and the margin that we beat Gandhi by, very different.
Yeah.
So
Does that concern you?
details, yeah, it's actually concerning. So when we next play Peter House, it's gonna be some serious practice before that.
So yeah, but I think given what you're saying about Peterhouse's performance, I don't know. Do you think that prepared CBC well enough for teams like Prince Edward and St. George's?
I generally do think so. I'm
Yeah,
not.
it should have prepared them. They should understand what the competition is like by now. So they have to build their team from there. Like how was how people were hyping up the St. John's George's game. Guys were saying John's is gonna win, John's is gonna win, John's is gonna win. What happened in the end? George's won. So it might be like that again with CBC. People are like Georges is gonna win, Georges is gonna win, Georges is gonna win. CBC wins. It could be a big surprise.
Are you
Wow.
guys hearing that? Are you hearing
Wow.
that?
If Tinaishe says it,
Listen, give me an inch, I'll run a mile with it.
oh
But
boy.
but to be honest,
No, let's not be
seeing
honest.
as the first couple of like friendly games of the season, we did beat CBC, even though it was by a small margin.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, but remember, they were playing a different team. They weren't playing our first team. Remember?
But what I'm saying is, if they're playing your second team and they are good enough to be there with a tiny margin,
They
then I don't.
lost to
I
the second. What are we talking about here? They lost to the
no.
second team.
Do you
The
know
first
what?
team
You're
won't
really
be
hung up on
close,
this.
bro.
Why are you hung up on this word lost and lose and or beaten? Let's not stick to the negative. Like, let's look at the positive. If they can
You
do
know,
so well,
Okay, how
I
about
don't
this?
think I don't.
They didn't win against the second team, so they're not gonna win against the first team. That's pretty clear to me. I'm sorry.
you know
I
what?
think
Okay,
I think we're more likely to see a scenario where CBC doesn't score than ties the game. That's what I'm gonna say. And I love CBC, but we're talking about them posing any sort of threat to St. George's. And of course, Tinaishe has to be respectful. St. George's is his team. He doesn't want to seem too biased here. CBC is a great team, but the fact that we're trying to discuss them beating St. George's is a plausible scenario to me
It is.
seems ridiculous. What are we? We're talking about a team that just got their first win. Great win.
Yeah.
Big ups to them. But let's not
Yeah.
get ahead of ourselves here. St. George's are the big dogs here.
The
Again.
big dog.
one question.
Okay.
I just have one question.
hmm
What's your question?
Remy, where's Hellenic?
yo. Well, I'm like big up in your team here. Like I'm trying to
Please,
show them love.
let's humble him. Let's humble him.
No, guys. I'm not. You guys are evil.
Okay, do you know what? Let's segue into the topic
Hellenic
of
is
the
coming
day.
back, bro. You best believe, bro. You better be on your watch out. You better. I'm serious. That was a nasty move. That was a nasty move to
Okay.
bring up Hellenic after what happened this week.
Now we're gonna go into the game of the weekend, which is Georges versus Gandhi, which was 36-33.
You know what? I'm gonna put this out there. Gandhi had the game.
Oh,
Wow.
Gandhi had the game. Halftime, we're thinking, okay, we're winning right now. It's fine. Nothing surprising is going to happen. They're not going to start, scoring tries like crazy. But what happened? We were caught by surprise. I mean, they started scoring tries, and we were, it got to a point where the clock said 0 minutes, 0 seconds left. Last play, we're down 33-29, and like 5 seconds left, the Gandhi parents are like, five, four, three, counting down the game to end. Like, I'm gonna give it to Gandhi. Gandhi is skilled. They're really, really skilled. But you've been hearing me sing the praise of this guy's name, Sitole. Sitole,
yeah.
Sitole, Sitole. He comes in with something like he gets the ball, he breaks the line. Every St. George's boy starts screaming. The parents are screaming. We won the game by 1 point. One. Like, that tells you that two very skilled teams went head to head. One team had the game,
Hmm.
but the other one got through.
Mm.
Got through.
Can I
Like,
can I ask you something tonight, Shay?
yeah?
Last week we spoke a lot about Loma Gundy as a defensive team. We spoke about the strong back line. We spoke about how they're patient, they're strong in possession, and we talked about some mistakes that they could not afford to make against St. George's. I wanted to know, was there anything surprising offensively? Because, like you said, they really kept the game close, showing up not just as a defensive team.
Yeah, it was surprising to see them attacking more than usual. They were like in the first half when they realized that okay, being patient with this team isn't working. Let's just start. Let's just go in guns blazing.
Mm.
And they went in guns blazing. They got us to a point where we're in the last play and it's looking like we're about to lose. So I would say they only made one mistake, and that was letting Sitole break the line.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they held their ground the whole game. Like we were pushing for tries, pushing, 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 pushing. Like 5 minutes left, 33-29 is the score on the scoreboard. And we are pushing for that last point. We're pushing for that last try. We're pushing, we're pushing, we're pushing. And it looks like it's not coming through. But I would say it was really surprising to see Gandhi going on more of the attacking side of the game in the second half. Because in the first half, it looked like St. George's was gonna keep with this point, this with the gap between the points. That Gandhi's going to score a few tries, but George's is going to keep the game under lockdown. But Gandhi, Gandhi Gandhi pulled something out of the bag,
Totally.
man. It was surprising. It was surprising to see.
When it comes to Gundy and the kicks, they have a 60% like success rate of it. So is it really that shocking to see that that is where they come strong? They are good at being patient. They're good at keeping the defense strong. Do you also feel like Georges didn't really prepare for the team that they were about to face? I feel like last year Gundy wasn't really a school that was talked about. Now this year it's a team that everyone talks about. You know what I mean? Do you feel like they were
Yeah,
a little underprepared?
yeah. I think there were certain mistakes that the St. George's team needs to fix up on. Like, for example, the way the fullback would drift into the back line when they were defending instead of saying staying back, so that if a Gandhi boy makes a line break, it's not everyone trying to, get back there to make a tackle. Things like that. They have to fix up on that. Last year, it was really quiet on the name Gandhi, but this year they're showing levels, man. They're showing
Mm-hmm.
levels.
Totally.
They
Yeah.
are.
I think there's something too.
Just like CBC.
I was gonna say too. I think there's something about when you're the top team. It's almost like there's a bounty on your head. You know what I'm saying? Like all these schools are coming in knowing, oh, I'm playing St. George's undefeated. We really need to show up. And it's going to make it tougher for St. George to have all these really impressive wins because every team now is coming in knowing who they're playing and knowing we need to prepare to our absolute fullest. So if St. George slip up or don't do what they need to do, they're putting themselves in a dangerous place, you know? It's hard to be the Kings.
Yeah.
I,
We haven't been the kings for long.
Hmm.
So now that we've got the throne, the crown is heavy. So we have to keep pushing, keep training. So I was just saying, the boys are actually today. Before I came home from school, I actually saw some of the first team players, training on Weaver. After such a tight game, it's understandable that pushing
feeling the
they're
pressure.
pushing themselves
Yeah.
so that they can keep the crown,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as St. George, you can't get comfortable. These teams are coming for you. You know what I'm saying? It might be
Yeah,
easy to be like, oh, we're the guys, we're number one, undefeated. But the second you get comfortable, someone comes for you, and like things change so fast in rugby. Um, so yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited to see
So
who the next team will be.
like
But
the second, we beat St. John's, it looked like, okay, all the other schools were like, what?
Yeah,
What just happened? St. George's took the crown from John's. Okay, so now we understand the team we're playing against. Let's push ourselves. We have to take that crown from them. They can't go the whole season undefeated.
totally.
Yeah.
But I'm just praying, that we go the season undefeated.
Yeah, I think it's possible if you guys
I,
keep, if you stay
yeah,
focused like you
it's
have been.
definitely.
Totally.
Ah, I was about to talk about Ifile
I
as
was about
well.
to say, I want to know,
Yeah,
Tinaishe, you love Sitole. He had a huge clutch play this weekend. Were there
yeah,
any other MVPs other than just Sitole? Not only just for St. George's, but any team. If you have
Yeah.
some players you want to talk about.
um, yeah. St. George's. For me, it's File and Sitole, and also some good play from Ndoro. Yeah, he played really well in that game. He did play well. Then for other schools, I'd have to say for Gandhi, for me, there was Tagarira, Maroa, and their captain, Chiwota. Yeah, he played. Those three players for me, really, they played really well during the game, made tackles, made all their tackles, well, made most of their tackles. Um,
Ooh, do I sense a bit of
yeah,
hate?
they were playing really well. Yeah, I could say, well, then for the under 14s, there was this guy called Tigere in the under 14s team. Tigere played really well. Prince Vengesai in the under 15s team, he also played really well. Under 14s B team, there was Ethan Sibanda, there was Tapera, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
most of the players for me.
that's great.
Yeah.
I want to look ahead really quick before we wrap it up here. I want to look ahead at next week's games. Um, there's a few important games that I think we need to talk about or give our predictions going into next week. Rachel, what are the games that we are looking at next week? What are the games that jump out?
CBC will be playing Prince Edward, and like I said before, I do have hope and I have faith that they will beat them. Yeah, that's weighing heavy on my chest because I know if they don't, there's like 4K video of me saying it. But we're also looking at Churchill versus Allen Wilson, Falcon versus Georges, of course, Peterhouse versus St. John's, which I generally think is going to be one of the biggest games as well. Goromonzi
I
versus
think
One.
Yeah, I think Peter's versus St. John's for me is the biggest match that weekend.
Mm.
St. George's will be keeping an eye on Peter's to see how they perform against John's, to see where St. George's places against Peter's. So if John's win the game, George's are looking like, okay, John's won. We beat Johns, but it wasn't really an easy game. So we need to keep working, to push ourselves. But if Peters wins, and it's by more than the margin that we beat Johns by, then that's gonna be a problem now.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a lot of serious training. A lot. Falcon is also a worrying game. Seeing the margin that they got beaten by Peterhouse 1 point, and Peterhouse have been performing really well this season. So Falcon is looking to give us a bit of a challenge when we travel to Falcon.
Yeah, yeah. I think too the CBC Prince Edward's game is interesting because going in last week, I definitely, looking ahead, was not expecting that to be a close game. But given the performance that CBC gave this week, I think it's I think that game is much more intriguing than it was before. And although I don't totally agree with Rach saying that CBC is going to win that game, I do actually think it's going to be a rather close game. And I think if you're Prince Edward, maybe you're a little more scared than you were a week ago. How do you see the St. George Falcon game going then?
Again, it's looking like a tight game again, just like this weekend. So, seeing as Peter House beat Falcon by only 1 point, ish, and seeing how Peter House has been performing this whole season, that's it's going to be a problem for us.
Yeah.
But if we push ourselves, if we train hard, um, today at practice everyone was hyping themselves, hyping each other up, making sure that push guys, come on, push. Let's push ourselves beyond our limits. You know, our coaches are working on us as the forwards to become faster. We are doing more and more fitness practice than we are doing like drills and stuff, so that we can be able to track back and make certain tackles, right? And to keep our game at 100% throughout the entire game. Just like how I was saying, Tapera and Ethan Sabanda, those two players for me, ish, during a Gandhi game, during Alan Wilson, ish, those guys were showing levels. As our flanks, they were running fast, hard. They were running hard with the ball. They scored a couple of tries. So I would say well done to Tapera, well done to Ethan Sibanda, and guys, let's keep this up. Let's go in this weekend. Let's take the long trip to Bulawayo
Hey.
just to win.
Yeah, show them what you're
Let's
about.
win. Let's win.
Let's go. I think that's a really nice point to end on. I'm very excited to see these fixtures for next week and see how they all turn out. I feel like I say it every podcast, but really, as these games go on, it feels like only more exciting to see what's next as these narratives build themselves, and I kind of get to learn more about these teams each week as a newbie. So that's really nice, and I'm excited. Hopefully, when we come back next week, we can be joined by another special guest, so you guys can butt heads, and there'll be some drama. Um, but yeah, thank you for your time, Tinaishe. Great as always. You're our star, and yeah, it was a pleasure
Yeah,
talking
you
to you
are
both.
love. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.